Ensara TV ekerenga kiomogusi.
The 93.2 from the same vote, 10-12, the Deputy President, was money that was for foreign travels and recommendation to be reallocated to domestic travels. Chair, on vote 1025, that is now on the National Police Service, there is a reduction of 1 billion. The 1 billion was meant to go for the police uniform in the recurrent under the supplementary, and the committee made observation that they are going through the process of procurement, considering the period we start this until we go to the appropriation bill may not be sufficient enough to have this money utilized. And the committee reallocated the 1 billion, and I'll still go to that. And of course, when we go to the estimates, we'll still notice that there is a 1.4 billion for the uniform. Chair, so the total reduction is 1 billion and 98.3 as indicated. The increase be effected on votes, the said votes, 10-12, 10-25, and the 10-26 of the same equivalent. And one, the Deputy President Office will get an increase of 5.1 million toward refurbishment of the Harambee Annexed. The same vote of 10-12, the Deputy President, get the same 93.2 toward enhancing local operation of the Office of the Deputy President. That is internal reallocation, as earlier indicated. The policing services, Chair, out of the 1 billion, the committee recommended 638 million goes toward paying withstanding bills of the Mbagathi Hospital. I think you all members know there is a very good facility on Mbagathi Road, which was constructed, and it had been laying there for almost 2-3 years now as White Elephant. It was handed over. It was done by the KDF, and it was handed over to the National Police Service last week. And it's a facility that actually it is a state of art. And we thought our officers would have been getting the services and other Kenyans in that ultra-modern facility. But it had a withstanding balance of 938 million. So the committee, out of the 1 billion, the committee reallocated 638 to the same facility. From the same 1 billion, 70 million went to enhancing O&M of the office of the secretary, which is a new office. When, of course, His Excellency the President gave the police autonomy, they were given the accounting officer. And it is a new office that we're trying to establish to have it running. We did last year, and we keep doing it. So there's 70 million. From the same, the office of the IG headquarters got 40 million. That is towards security operation of the headquarters of the IG. From the same, the office of DIG of the KPS, that is the Kenya Police, 40 million. The DIG, Administration Police, 40 million. The headquarter DCI, 50 million. GSU, 30 million. And the general operation under vote 1026, on the same towards security operation, 92 million. And that mathematic totals add up. Becomes 1 billion and 98 billion, and 1 billion and 98.3. So, Chair, can I?
Members, I think it's proper that we finish with the
supplementary.
He presents both. You may proceed with the next.
But, Chair, before I proceed to the next, you know, we are before a very powerful committee, and a good committee as well. They've been so kind to us. That is what the committee managed to do. given the very tight situation. So the 1 billion, we managed to apportion it small to that extent. And we have also a request to make under the same supplementary chair. And just kindly allow me, with your permission, allow me to, just about 4 items. Chair, we are kindly appealing to you that you support the State Department, the General Administration Headquarters, with 1 billion toward the security operation, mostly in the North Rift. We all aware that we had the modernization program. We got the new AMRAPs, APCs, and a lot of equipment, but to operate them and let them actually able to discharge, we need quite some substantial amount of money, which of course there is a huge shortage, which I will demonstrate again within the sector. So we are asking this kind committee kindly to look for us 1 billion for the same. Chair, the county administration utilities, we had indicated in the supplementary that there's a lot of bills withstanding in our Ngao offices totaling 96 million. We're also making that appeal. And the task force of Maraga, 152 million. And more importantly also, Chair, I did indicate that the outstanding balance of Mbagathi Hospital, which the facility is ready for use any day, any time, having been handed over to us, we still have a bill of 300. If we manage to pay the 638, we still have 300 million. And we are kindly making an appeal to support us to have this facility, as you all appreciate. Actually, if this facility gets operational, even the issue, we will reduce the issue of our medical covers of our officers taking medical care from the private facilities. Lastly, Chair, there is the Office of the Inspector General. We still need about 200 million to have it effectively. We had very critical formation like GSU, the issue of APs, DCI, all of them. To actually, like some members were actually harassing me when we had a break about the hard situation the GSU are experiencing, because they hardly have enough. And actually, when we go to the estimate, we'll appreciate the out of 114 billion allocated to the police, 19 billion is only allocated for O&M. The whole chunk goes to salaries and the rest. So you can imagine how tight the situation is. So kindly, Chair, to summarize, we kindly having a wish list here of 2.4 billion. We are appealing this committee. Quickly going to, as you directed.
Thank you, Chair, Security. And my question is on this amount that was spent on 223. I think it's 3 billion. And out of the 3 billion, 500 million was for El Nino floods mitigation. And I note that this amount was withdrawn in 1st of December, the 500 M for drought mitigation, and the State Department of Internal Security and National Administration. And I'm wondering, then, by December, there were no signs of El Nino in December. This amount was withdrawn on 1st of December. By then, there were no any signs of El Nino. I'm wondering whether you interrogated the department on what this money was exactly used for. Because by then, for sure, there were no, do you agree with me? There were no signs of any El Nino in December. And also, on the same amount, the 3 billion, in your report, you are saying the amount was used for Madaraka Day celebration. That's page 15, paragraph 74. You're saying the amount was used for local presidential visit and Madaraka Day celebrations. And I'm wondering why we would have money withdrawn under 223 for Madaraka Day celebration, yet everybody knew there will be Madaraka Day celebration. It's not an emergency. So that's my question, Chair. Thank you.
Chair, thank you for your good presentation. Chair, my concern is GSU. And that is why you are hearing Chair that saying that he was harassed. We were not harassing him. We were trying to consult with him because I had a chance to go to Baringo. And Chair, when I went to Baringo, I found that the police from GSU are sleeping in the cars. They don't have food. They don't have fuel because there's no money to pay them and there is no money to cater for them. And I requested the Chair. We also have this security, like a security, the one which normally, who normally take care of our president. Those people, they want to go on strike because they've not been paid their salaries. Another day, I went to National Police. And when I was talking to the finance person, the procurement came there and told the procurement that all the police stations, they are not able to pay the electricity. So all the power was disconnected. And then I got a concern, and that is why I wanted to ask him, where does this money go? If you go to GSU, now they are the ones who are taking care of Badit, and Leke are the ones who are taking care of our president. If those people are not taken care of, what is going to happen? And Chair, when you are doing your presentation, I have seen that you had allocated some money to buy uniform. I would urge this committee, that money, because now there is no time for doing the procurement. Why can't we reallocate money to those police officers, because they are our brothers, they are our husbands. We need to take care of them because they are protecting us. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable.
I would like to know the cost of holding a public functions. Chair, I'm concerned that in the recent past, public functions have seen a lot of these public functions looking like state functions. There's humongous amounts of money which is being spent on public functions. Like we are a country that is really having many celebrations, yet we are a struggling country. Chair, I would like to know, like the coming Madaraka Day or whichever holiday we will have, how much does it cost a taxpayer to host them? Thank you.
Honorable Ariwario.
Thank you. Chair, the Ministry of Internal Security is in charge of security. I don't know why they are using a very huge money for mitigation of either El Nino or what, because we have a ministry in charge of that, which is the Ministry of Regional Development and ASAL. Why are they using money meant for security for mitigation? Is that the role of the ministry? Also, Chair, in the proposal, the estimate, there is a lot of reallocation. Maybe we are going to the end of the financial year. That's why people are making a hurry to make money. So this reallocation, what made this reallocation to happen?
I have just two questions. The committee has reallocated 1 billion, which was supposed to be for uniforms. And that money we pushed a lot of it to security operations. Actually, if I had the figures, it's almost half of the money has gone to security operations. Then under your wish list, you are also recommending an additional 1 billion for security operations. Would it be, my question would be, where, because I see you are even dividing the money between the IG, the DIG, AP. Just to know, is this a coordinated operation or is it a standalone coordination? Then the second question, Mr. Chairman, the budget of State House falls under this committee. And if you look at how much has been spent to date, they are at 86% absorption rate. Under the budget of State House, there is budget for retired presidents, vice presidents, Prime Minister, who is abrogated by the House. The other day we saw a letter from the immediate controller of State House, which was being captured in the media, that the money for the retired president, they were not able to access the money, despite putting several requests. So since you oversight this department, are you able to comment on that matter in terms of, are they accessing the money, or is this propaganda? When we read the papers that the retired president is not able to access resources, and we know very well this is a constitutional matter. It's not a personal matter. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Japheth.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the good presentation. I also had the same question on the 1 billion that you've reallocated for operations. Could this money, why couldn't you use this money in like buying vehicles? Because most of these police stations and police posts don't have vehicles for these operations, but you spend the money for other kind of, I don't know what kind of operations are you talking about? Is it the Rift Valley operations or what is it? Number two is we've seen in other ministries the absorption rate is at 50%, 40%, 30%, 60%, but when you go to the office of the deputy president, you see the absorption rate is at 98%, 88.7%. Why do they get money and other places don't receive money? That is my question. Thank you.
That money going to El Nino disaster mitigation, 2.7 billion. You'd request that you give us items. I mean, that is too blanket. For 2.7 billion, that is too much to ask as just a line. Please give us the details.
Where is that?
And also, it has been asked, could you give us or try to check how much money has actually gone to security operations? How much? Because you realize in every budget cycle, then there is enhancement. So how much exactly, for example, for this year, have you put in security operations for the various votes that there are? And then lastly, could you try to itemize for us also the confidential votes in the various MDAs that you oversight that have got confidential votes also? Please give us the amount. Honorable Danson Mashako.
Before, page 15, the 3 billion that was drawn under 223, I think it's not clear, because there's a statement that says, Chair, if you read where they say the details of expenditure included 500 million withdrawn on 1st December, El Nino of mitigation, 1.5 billion withdrawn on 27 February to cater for multi-agent security operations in North Rift, another further 1 billion to cater for ongoing security operations. This security operations is getting large amounts of money with no details. And again, Chair is asking for another 1 billion reallocation from one vote to another. And then he's also giving us another wish list for security operations. I think this security operation needs to come out clear. As Chair says, Chair budget has said, how much actually has gone into security operations and why more money every time? And if this money that we're reallocating, I think there are other pressing priorities within the police that, as one member said, motor vehicles and, the state of their welfare, that will make more sense than just lumping money into security operations. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable
I think my question also is similar, but I want to echo on the committee recommendation on item number 3, whereby you are saying that the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary has been proposed to receive additional 171.3 million. And part of that money that you also not be able to identify clearly or to probably separate is going to confidential they're saying it's going to confidential expenditure. I mean, what is this confidential that probably want to spend in the next another 1 month, a total of about 171 million shillings that they want to spend within the next 1 month before the budget for 2024-2023. Would really want to know the same way this confidential, what it entails, and how do they, spend their expenditure on that. What is that confidential that they are talking about? The other one, Chair, is that 1 billion shillings reallocation. From the way it looks like you had some money and you didn't know where to put the money. Because, I mean, when you start putting 20 million to the 40 million to the headquarter office, 40 million to the GSU, it's like probably you are trying to make sure that this money is spent within the next maybe 1 month or so. So my point is, Chair, and because you have a wish list, why don't you consolidate this operation money towards security operations, and maybe give it to one item whereby probably you have dealt with completely. Whether you want to return it back to the Bagathi and pay the whole pending bill, I mean, it will look a bit prudent for us to be able to do that. But as it looks, Chair, maybe probably you'll be able to substantiate and say, what is this security operations to a tune of 40 million, 40 million, 40 million, and 50 million. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, and Honorable Chair. After we budget for the money, actually MDS have authority to actually go and advertise. It is not the exchequer that triggers an MDA to advertise. It is the budget. So that being the case, you deduct 1 billion from uniforms. And yes, we've heard the money is going to other things, and you have also indicated the money is provided for in the estimates for 24-25. But from where we sit, these uniforms we are budgeted for this year. And the fact that there is preliminary work even for tendering, that is already committed money. Because remember, even if the year is lapsing on 30th June, Exchequer just need to release the money. The nitty-gritties about procurement falls with the MDA, not the National Treasury. Just the same manner, when there is a road being built at your place, they don't advertise when they get the money. They advertise when they have the budget. Secondly, from your committee side, especially the analysts and especially the legal person, could you appraise this committee the law that confidential vote is hedged on? Which offices are separated to benefit from that? Because then if every office has, for example, does the Speaker of the National Assembly has a confidential vote? That's what I want to know. Is it every minister? Within the security organs, who should have confidential vote? We need to understand especially the exact law that itemizes the specific offices. Let's go now to Honorable Robbie Mathias.
Thank you, Chair, for this chance. We understand that the internal security is very sensitive to our country. And always we consider this ministry when it comes to funding. But when you go around, even to our police stations, many of them, you'll find that some police stations are gazetted and the police officers posted. You'll find them with no offices. Sometimes you find them with no vehicles. How do you expect this station to operate? So, Chairman, can you find out what is happening in this ministry, which is fully funded, as the Chair has said here? But you'll find even sometimes the police officers have been provided with a motor vehicle with no fuel. In case of any problem and you direct them to rush to a place, they'll tell you, Mheshimiwa, we don't have fuel. Which is, unatoka mfuko to fund those officers. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Let's go. Not an answer now. For now, let's go to Abdi.
For your question.
My concerns are, I didn't have any time to peruse the document. I came late, but I've had members raising issues on this security operations money that goes to security operations. Chair, of late, this has become a cash cow for officers. Actually, I come from a consensus that if you check the national, the UN map, they put it a red flag that shows that the dangerous zone, and it is part of this country. As we speak, last night, there was an attack in one of the camps in my constituency. And we never had a single operation in that constituency. So I wonder when where this money goes to. So the chairman needs to be very clear and tell us where this money went to and on which operations. So the other issue, the issue of security roads. Chair, always I don't know if the chairman has asked for money now because I was not there for the supplementary and the next financial year coming. We always put some money to security roads. And I don't know where that money is spent to, because if I come from that constituency and I have not benefited in a single road, I want the chairman to tell us. Also, Chair, there is an issue, I don't know whether the chairman is aware, as we speak, the Kenyan National Registration Bureau, that's the ID, the machine that produced for printing, for the last 2 weeks, it is not functioning. So the money that they are wasting and they have nowhere to allocate for, it's good that at least they procure an extra and standby machine so that at least the Kenyans get their IDs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I give us a tabulation. 2020, for the last 3 years, this office was receiving this, to this year this, and now this one. We see how they are changing. Let's go to the Honorable Vice Chair.
Listen to me. Chair, I would want the chair to define what you mean by towards security operations. What is it that is entailed in security operations? Because, Honorable Chair, insecurity is not only being witnessed in Northeastern or Rift Valley, it cuts across the country. We put money for security operations, yet in my constituency, there is no vehicle, and the officers cannot respond to any distress. So where exactly is this money going to? Leave alone even just the motor vehicles. If you see the kind of houses those police officers are living in, they are in terrible, dilapidated conditions. So where this ministry is one of the best resourced ministries. Yes, it's one of the best resourced. Sisi tunajenga nyumba za chief, tunajenga na NGCDF. Sisi tunajenga police post, go to Adongos police station sahi in my constituency, unapata renovated by NGCDF. The police officers have to address certain urgent security matters. There is no fuel. MPs have to get into their pockets to fuel the vehicles because you want to assist your people. So kindly, even if the other aspects of these expenses are what you call confidential, tell us the general, the few that this money is doing. Because we really actually concerned. In my constituency right now, people are being attacked, houses broken into at night. But when I go to the police station, they tell me, Mheshimiwa, we don't have a vehicle. We don't have a vehicle, not a single one. So really, this is something you need to give us some explanations. Maybe do for us under closed door, do for us a presentation, so that we can be able to see exactly what, in confidence, what the department is doing. And on IDs, You know, I don't understand why as a Kenyan I need to pay to be a citizen. Why should I pay to be a citizen of Kenya and I'm a citizen by birth? Hii pesa mingi tumewapatia. Sio pesa mulipie watu wapate IDs for free.
You can replace by paying.
Yes. 300, no, now in my constituency it's 500. They're being asked for 500. For you to be registered, to get an identity card, to become a Kenyan, yet you are a Kenyan. I don't know. Chair, you need to clarify some of these things.
Honorable Nyakundi, then we close it there, then we...
Okay, thank you, Chair. In fact, I'm just with my colleagues. I'm doing a comment, not a question. And I want also to ask the Chair and his team, you are the people oversighting, seeing what is happening and also correcting some messes if they are there. There is a total mess now on the side of security. I come from North Rift. We have got military, we have got the police, the JU, whatever, but they're doing nothing because they don't have any support. Instead, they come to us, MPs, and the county governor, for support for even a fuel. And yet, I know there were money we gave out to these people here. Nothing. Even the other day, we had this election for our UDA grassroots. People were fighting, but you could not even get a police to go and support or stop those violence there. Because they are telling you, Mheshimiwa, give us fuel. We run there. So, where are we heading? That's what I'm saying. You people get out of this Nairobi office or parliament, go around. Especially start with the notary. Without you, there's nothing going on. And those people will tell you. The other group came. Then they were told, bila kuficha. The other day we had our brother, ambaye alipoteza maisha. He came and he saw, even the vehicle, the first at Lorogon, not Lorogon, in the side of Turkana. You get to Smama could take off, which means there is any problems. And we are losing now lives because of our careless. We give money, it remains a Rambe House, if it's now like Rift Valley, Nakuru, Mwisho. Same to Rambe House, and then Northeastern. Nothing going to the concerned person who is working there.
Honorable Nyakundi.
Just one more question I forgot to ask. Was it necessary to remove money under Article 223 for alcohol and drug substance abuse? Does the ministry concerned has the money which the money was supposed to remove to be gotten from? And lastly, as Kawanjiko had initially asked on the confidential vote, we wanted to know under this Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Office of the Deputy President, how much is given in terms of the confidential vote, and consecutively for the last maybe 2-3 years, how much has been given?
Please, Chair, you can respond.
There's quite a number, about 16. I'll try. And Chair, I want to start from the first MP for Lunyoro. I think his issue was about the money that was withdrawn under the 233 around December. And I think we should all, if we remember, El Nino actually started way back before December. The part of even our brother sitting next to you, I think when you got lost, there was around December when you had that incident. So the El Nino started in northeastern part of the country way back before December. So in December, we're in the middle of El Nino. So by then, the El Nino was already with us. The other issue, you had talked about the issue of Madaraka. Madaraka celebration is not just the actual attendance of the event. It starts by renovation of the venues. This year, we are doing it in Bugoma. And the construction and preparation has been ongoing for the last like 2 or 3. Actually, our worry is if it will be even ready on time. So and it's rotational. So we should appreciate that the practice nowadays is rotational. If it comes to your county, you don't have a stadia, the ministry goes in, plus other stakeholders and partners to make the venue ideal for the function. Question number 2 was asked by MP Fonyori. I think her concern was largely on the issue of underfunding of the JSU, non-payment of utilities and electricity. And it's true, members, I think I started by telling you, actually it's the opposite of expectation, or it is the opposite. People think this sector is funded well. In fact, it's the total opposite. It is so much underfunded to the extent that they survive from hands to mouth. If you look the entire budget of the National Police Service, which is about 114 billion, only 19 billion is available for O&M. The rest, 90%, goes to salaries. So that is why you get such situation that, of course, they struggle. But I agree with her that, of course, majority of our formed up units are really struggling to perform their duties. And I think she also talked about the issue of uniform and the issue of Mbagathi. I think you members, you know, being the members of a budget committee, under our laws, standing bills are normally supposed to be the first charge. And it's very unfortunate that I actually told you that the issue of Mbagathi has been white elephant for the last 3 or so years. We're supposed to have been handed over to the sector 2-3 years ago, but the contractor declined because of the bills. Until recently, we made a conviction and a plea and a commitment that we are going to look money from whoever to pay, so that they decided to hand over. And it was just handed over 3 or so, I think it was last Thursday, if I can remember well. Honorable Atandi, you had asked about the cost of the public Madaraka or celebration. It's a little bit hard to tell the exact amount because it depends on the state of the stadium of where the hosting county. If the hosting county does not have a stadium, of course we expect the cost to go high. So I think, and it's rotational, so I think it's good to appreciate that fact. Ali Wario, I think you had also talked about the El Nino and why spend when there are other line ministry. The issue of emergency responsiveness is not a confine of one single ministry. It cut across. And of course, we all understand when emergencies or El Nino or other emergencies, the rapid response, it mutates to be actually a security concern. That what happened recently, even in Kijabe, of course, it turned to be a security operation. So that's why you get the issue of El Ninos, people being evacuated, people being given food, people are being given even blanket and shelter. So it is something that is approached across several multi-agencies. Dr. Makalu, I think you had asked about the security operation, where we reallocated that the big chunk of it went into security operation. It is opposite. If you look critically, Daktari, out of the 1 billion, it is only 260 that we plugged back to the sector. The 1 billion, which was for uniform, which we said, of course, through going through the entire process, the committee, through the wisdom of the committee, decided to have the same money revolving or just be spread across the sector. And it is in appreciation of what MP Fonyeri and majority of you that our police officers are struggling even to respond to call of distress because they don't have fuel, they don't have what, that we thought, through the wisdom of the committee, at least the 40 million, the 50 million, the 30 million can able to cushion them at least for the 1 month or so before we cross to the next financial year to keep them afloat so that at least they can able to respond to call of distress. But it's only 260, Dr. Makalu. You still ask about the State House. The absorption was 96%. And you did ask maybe, I think the issue of exchequer, not absorption, the exchequer release, as the same as this. You understand the majority of money going to State House, largely operational money. And you can just appreciate how many number of national functions that the HE has wasted, even in this single year. I think by appreciating that, you can be able to really appreciate why they could absorb this much. It is a, yes, sir?
Point of order, Mr. Chan. I think the Chan did not get my question. What I was saying is, there were reports that I asked 2 questions, but it's okay. Continue.
Okay, so I had the issue of that, I had the issue of absorption, and the other one was the retired president. Yeah, on the issue of the retired presidents, because I think you have said they took all their money, but there was the State House control of the former president. Something that I cannot really able to answer with an authority because it has not reached into the knowledge of the committee. I also just saw it in the media. It's never been raised to us. But what I know, the money has been allocated, is available. So maybe the issue of requisition, because normally there is also a procedure. When a retired president retires, there is of course a procedure now when they will start claiming or following up their funds. Like I remember we have an issue with the President Saitoti. Until to date, they have never actually withdrawn a coin because they have not made attempt to follow their money. The other issue is Honorable Nyakundi. You talked about why the 1 billion could not go to the vehicles. It's good to bring to the knowledge of all of us that the issue of vehicles, as it is centralized. It is something done through the National Treasury across the all government sectors. Even the vehicle we are seeing about, we don't. Normally police don't buy. We lease through Treasury, National Treasury. So I think that is the arrangement currently in the country. And in any way, we actually reallocating because we also appreciate that it's not been, we cannot even reallocate. The year period is 1 month through the entire process. And even as it is, Honorable Nyakundi, I think there is already even a problem now. As for now, the government has not even gotten a contract. Normally they negotiate with the car dealers and they have to agree on the actual pricing, locked within 3 years. I attempted to buy a car for my CDF. It has taken me good 2 years because they don't have a government contract as now. So it's not even something practical, even if we wanted to. Chair did ask about the 2.7 billion El Nino to be itemized. We are going to do so, Chair. We are going to provide the same to the Secretariat, if you so allow. On the security operation, you had also asked, Chair, about the confidential votes across different sectors. I can just mention in brief, but we can still provide more detail to the Secretariat. The confidential, because we all know the issue of confidential is given by the National Treasury. And yeah. Sawa. And it is like the internal security had 577 million. The security operation is 7.747. Vote 10, Cholof. The Office of the Deputy President, 800. The confidential is normally for undercover investigation and intelligence gathering. The other sectors, like the State House, we can get the more details we can provide. The National Police Service, 477. The Immigration, 46 million. But I think, Chair, if you allow, we can give a more comprehensive report, especially considering that you had asked about a 3-year period. I think we need a little bit to compile and give to your Secretariat. I think Honorable Ashogo had asked about the security operation amount. I think it's more or less the same question that the chair did ask. Mheshimiwa Kawanjiko, you have talked about the office of the Prime Cabinet. The issue of having a confidential of it is actually 80 million. I think it's also captured under the same. And the issue of other issue was why could you amalgamate the 260 into one sector? And I think I want to repeat again, Mheshimiwa, as much as the sector looked to be getting huge amount, 95%, especially National Police Service, is just going to salaries. It's only 19 billion left for O&M. So we were just trying to keep them afloat. So at least to close the year. Like the REC that the MP was talking about, like operation in Mheshimiwa Mzee Moroto were talking about. Just to get fuel and lubricants and a few things to keep them afloat.
Honorable Tongoyo,
yes, sir.
In our appropriation, what you are mentioning is budgeted for separately.
Yes. Oh yeah, we are enhancing a little bit. We know that
the enhancement is not in the votes.
Chair,
Masid, could you please give us the real the items that are funded under the MDS, because O&M is also segregated, and the money being questioned is not part of O&M per se. If it's lubricants, there is. Yes. If there is vehicles, as you mentioned very properly, National Treasury hires. So the monies are not going for hiring of vehicles, because police officers do not take Ubers, for example.
Yes, I agree, Chair. On itemization, actually, the issue of codes, how they are spread. I think you asked, I don't know whether...
No, what I mean,
yeah.
The questions, if you have heard clearly about the questions about members, when you talk about, and I'm very, you know, like for example, us is budget, the other chairs are here. When Honorable Murugara is allocating money to IEBC, he's guided by some law. For example, he cannot allocate money to IEBC for hiring of a private apartment for a commissioner. I mean, he may not do that. He follows law. So when, for example, you are allocating money for confidential vote, especially money that is not itemized, that's what we are calling it. What is the law that guides you? So that then, if tomorrow I come and say, now the country has decided the office of the chairman of JLAC in parliament should be getting confidential vote, why will you say no? And I accept the other one. That's what I mean.
I know, of course, the confidential is provided, and under the PFM Act, it should be Regulation 18, 105 and 6. And I think what of interest is the small money that we spread to the security organs, the JSU, the AP, the DCI, normally under their operations. That is how maybe I can let my budget officer just a little bit to help clarify that one.
And also, Honorable Tongoyo, do these MDS come before your committee to respond to the issues you are raising?
Yes, they do.
So you have the details?
Yes.
Why can't you then share them? Because if the same PMF provides that we should know the details.
Actually, Chair, that's what I said.
What confidential means is that public shouldn't know. It doesn't mean it's confidential to leaders and appropriators. According to PFM, it is confidential in regards to public, not in regards to your committee and our committee.
And I had said earlier, Chair, that I'm going to provide to the Secretariat, especially having guided that we backdate it to 3 years. Whatever the beneficiaries of the confidential. So I think it's something we just allow us before the close of business, we give it to the Secretariat.
Honorable Fokiaba.
The Chair, I also wanted to, apart from the office, the Ministry of Interior and the Office of the President, the Office of the Deputy President, the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, I also understand KFS, they have a confidential vote, and KWS, they have also a confidential vote. Do they come to you for that justification? Because even from where I sit, and that's why we should, and that's why I support the Chair, because you also need to understand how come they have a confidential vote, but when they come to a departmental committee, we don't have any budget or any item line for confidential vote within those two departments. I don't know whether there is a law that and where they are able to borrow and they are able to get their money from.
Chair, just to
Honorable Tongoyo has just mentioned a few which he knows the amount. Like the Interior, you say they have 577, Prime Cabinet Secretary, they have 80, National Police. Do you have the rest? Kindly give us the rest so that it can be easy for us to know.
Chair, after this, the Secretariat provide you, did see your document. And just to correct what Mheshimiwa Kawanjiko, we don't oversight the KFS, the KWS. It is in another committee.
Chair, my point was on the confidential, because from where I sit, and I understand they have a confidential, and I think, Chair, that's coming out to our committee to be able to interrogate where this confidential vote come from and to which extent. And I think, Chair, is right to ask which law govern us to allow us, to budget for the confidential vote, because the same law, maybe probably KFS and KWS, they are using it to make sure that they have a confidential vote. So it's also good to understand, because I mean, when it comes to security matters, the Kenya Forest Service, they have police guard, KWS, they have also their own guards. So I think that's why, maybe probably because of the issue of security, they have that confidential vote. So it is also good to understand, so that if it is the Tourism and Wildlife Committee that oversight the KWS, we can be able to interrogate and find out where does their confidential come from. Is it from the taxpayers? Is it A?
Honorable Millie, and I request also you introduce yourself.
Chair, my concern is on a different issue, and Chair is primarily on withdrawals and, Millie Odhiambo Mabona, a Member of Parliament, Suba North, and ranking member of this committee. Chair, my concern is mainly on withdrawals under 223 and whether they're really necessary. I mean, they can be put under the annual budget. Do they have to be 223? Like the issues of alcohol, drug, and substance abuse, or insurance, or other operating expenses. Why do they have to be under 223? And Chair, there was also one other issue. Yes, I just wanted clarification, and I'm glad the JLAT person is here. I'm seeing in the supplementary under the, what is this department called? Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Really? No, State Department for Parliamentary Affairs. And that is for the supplementary 41, the State Department. Part of the work they needed, the 47 million, include development of legislative agenda, tracking information system, facilitating coordination of the government legislative agenda, and purchase of computers and ICT. Does it mean the legislative drafting department of the Attorney General has been removed? And if it has not, is this not the duplicating of efforts and wastage of public resources? Can you please explain? Why do you have people doing legislative work in a different area when you actually have an entire legislative drafting department in the Office of the Attorney General?
Odinga, MP Kisumu County, and a member of this committee, and my apologies for coming late.
Chairman, now you may respond.
Baka Central constituency and a member of this committee.
Are you new? Kayole.
You know.
Honorable.
Fangano Island directed that money be placed for divisional headquarters of the sub-county, and I have not seen any allocation to that effect. Can I please know why? Or you want me to be the president and make a declaration here?
Chair, on that, allocated for the operationalization of different administrative units, and maybe the list.
Please.
Chair, could I just...
I was left with about 2 questions. And one actually, before I go to the new set of questions, was one for our Treasurer Nyakundi on justification of the 223 on the drug and substance. I want to state that the issue of under 223 mostly is used when there is unforeseeable situation or even insufficient funds. And we all know that the issue of drug abuse illicit has been a big national, there's a national big campaign. So made justification for the withdrawal under that vote. Also,
are you convinced with such a thing? Can they just provide for it in the annual estimates instead of just what is so urgent about alcohol?
Chair, also, it is wrong for the chairman to insinuate that this is a national campaign, because drug addicts in Alego Songa have not seen this money. So how is it national campaign?
Please respond. Finish now.
I think we should look Kenya in totality. An issue affecting Longa Usango, or wherever, it's affecting Kenya. So it's a fact that honorable members should appreciate. So people dying in another part of the country because of drug abuse, illicit brews.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order. Point of order, Chair. Chair, what the Chair, sorry for interrupting you, but what you are saying cannot go unchallenged using the 2010 Constitution. That is why we actually have the country divided into regions. We have counties, 47 counties. Because otherwise, why can't we just give all the money to Nairobi and be happy that all the money in Nairobi has been served? So Northeastern should be happy, Alego Usonga should be happy. Equity. There are drunkards all over the country. So if that money is
affairs, it's true. It's also a concern we raised. There could be a lot of implication across several MDS. But just to say, on these parliamentary affairs, it was supposed to be a link between the executive and parliament for smooth coordination. Lastly, Chair, you did ask the issue of the uniform. Let me... And you did raise, I think I forgot to mention, the issue of whether the uniform was committed, the 1 billion we're reallocating. The answer is no. We had the accounting officer and IG. Of course, they appeared before us, and we did ask the same question. And actually, in fact, the recommendation of the committee was actually also in concurrent with the accounting officers and the IG. So it's no commitment whatsoever. Actually, it was a reallocation before. So I just want to make that clarity, Chair. The issue of IDs, lastly. There's a member who asked the issue of ID with the National Bureau of Registration. Are you talking about passports? I'm not aware of a problem with IDs. It has not come to our attention. But what I know, we actually geared moving to that generation, digital ID. What is the sector under the immigration and this citizen actually are doing now, and there is money available for it in the estimates. is to upgrade and take Kenyans to that generation or digital IDs. And actually vetting has been removed. It's good to mention that. The people from Northeastern have been having a lot of hindrances getting the IDs. It has been removed.
Yes, Honorable Miri.
Same issue, and I wish we were here with the Finance Committee. The reason being that we are raising a lot of taxes to meet the budget. And yet we are also not budgeting smart. If you are saying that this was actually supposed to coordinate the legislative agenda between Parliament, 47 of the supplementary, page 12, clause 41 of the supplementary, page 12 of the supplementary. If you actually see, the State Department reallocated its budget of 47 million to fund activities that's been affected by Supplementary 1. They include development of a legislative agenda, tracking information, facilitating coordination. Chair, could I request that we get itemized budget on this? Because we don't want to really harass Kenyans over things. If you ask me, and I'm sure my brother there who is a lawyer will probably tell you, what does it take to have a coordination? Probably one staff to coordinate parliamentary affairs. That is salary, maybe 2 full scaps for the year, 2 sets of full scap, 1 computer, printer. I can do for you the maths. It's less than 5 million in a year. So why do you want to put all this money here? I don't think it's right for us to be duplicating activity. The Attorney General Department is doing this work. Chair, I hope we can earmark this for reduction.
Please say now, that was a comment?
For reduction.
Okay.
Record, this is actually the entire document for itemization budget, and I hand over to your committee. So give me the other document.
Please proceed.
Millie, it will be given to Secretariat. They can do a copy. Yeah, through that. We are going to the printers debate. And I want, Chair, without to take members to page 19 on the committee observations. And I just want to repeat again that the all MDS and the all accounting officers of the 12 Waterhead did appear before committees. And these are the observations made by the committee. So the committee, having reviewed the 2024-25 budget estimate, as well as having held consultative meeting with the ministry, department, agencies, they made the following observation. A, Executive Office of the President, vote 1011. The proposed budgetary allocation for the office amount to 5.3734. The proposed allocation was marginally reduced by 57.5 from the approved BPS of 5.430.9. The office was underfunded to a tune of 2.385. Key areas to be affected by the underfunding included government press, that is the government printer, that required an additional 200 million for the purchase of materials that are required to print confidential documents, Power of Mercy Advisory Committee, which required an additional 100 million, Commission of Inquiry and Tribunal, which required 490 million toward the task force for the review of legal and regulatory framework governing religious organization, task force and modernization of government printer, the tribunal removal of Honorable Justice Kulo. The government printer, it was observed that the government printer was not operating at its optimal capacity on account of obsolete equipment. There was need to upgrade the printing equipment to increase its efficiency and generate more revenue to the exchequer. The Betting Control and Licensing Board was not adequately funded to carry out its mandate in line with the Betting, Lottery and Gaming Act, Cap 131. It was observed that the betting industry was generating billions of shillings to the exchequer, yet the board, which is supposed to regulate and control the industry, was severely underfunded to carry out this mandate to the tune of 144. B, Office of the Deputy President, vote 1012. The office was allocated 4.469 million at the BPS level. However, the estimate has revised the allocation upward to 4.872 million. The increase was on account of 250 million toward procurement of insignia and medals, 57 million toward personal enrollment, and 50 million toward alcohol drug abuse initiative. The allocation toward development expenditure has also increased from approved 250.4 in the BPS to 300.4. The increase of 50 will be toward the refurbishment of the annex. The Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, vote 1013. The proposed estimate for the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary amounting to 1.14.8 from the approved BPS ceiling of 1.502.1, the reduction will impact negatively on the service delivery by not facilitating